And since we're at the web interface, I'm going to log in as a user. So this is the username and password that was set up in the admin portion under user. If I go under user, I can see my information that was auto-populated, so I can change any of my information of my fax number, phone number, email address changes at all. I can change my password if I want to. If I go under contacts, I'm going to be able to see if I have any personal contacts. If I don't, I can either import in a CSV file or click add to manually add a contact. I can click on global, and I'm going to be able to see all the global contacts that were added in by the administrator. I can go into my personal groups, so I could set up different personal groups from either my global contact list or my personal contact list. Or I can look under global groups, and again I can see all of the global groups that the administrator had set up. But what I'm going to do when I come to the web interface is I'm going to click on send fax. And you can see my information auto-populates because that's what's filled in under my username. So my information will auto-populate as the sender information. Under the recipient information, I can choose if I want to pick from global contacts, global groups, enter recipient information. I can enter the information, save it to my personal contacts. And if I had personal contacts and personal groups set up, those would show up here as well to be able to choose from. So I'll choose from my global contact list. And what that will do is it will auto-populate in the contacts here. So then the drop-down box would come with all of my global contact lists here. So I can pick somebody that I want to send a fax to. And I can add that recipient. If I want to have a cover page, I can choose yes or no. If I choose to have a cover page, I can choose from the different templates that are in the fax server. And I'll just do this as test 1. And then I can browse to add my attachments. Now with the web interface, the type of file types that you can fax out are going to be PostScript, TIFF, text, and PDF file types. I can add another attachment if I want to as well. And then I have the option to say if I want to send receipt always, never, or only on failed faxes. And then if I want an attachment on that receipt as a PDF, a TIFF, or no attachment at all. And then I would just click send fax. And what it's going to do is send it over to the fax server to go out. Now as a user too, I can go under status and logs, and I'd be able to see my fax status when I click on fax status here. So I can see if it's pending or if it's starting to send already. And then I have my own individual inbound fax log and outbound fax log. So I'd be able to see what I have done as a user, but I can't see what everybody else has done. And then once I'm all done sending my fax, I can just click log out. Now the web client is one way that we can send an outbound fax. Another way to send an outbound fax is doing email to fax, so sending it directly from my email inbox. In order to do that, what I would do is I would create a new email in my inbox. In the to field, I would do fax equals the fax number that I want to send it to, at, and then the domain name of the fax server or the IP address of the fax server. And whatever I put in the subject would be the subject of the cover sheet, and whatever I write in the body of the email would be the notes or comments portion of the cover sheet. And then I would attach my documents like I would attach it to an email. And again, the file types that you can fax out using email to fax are going to be PostScript, text, TIFF, and PDF. So it's the same file types as the web interface. And then I would just click send. So what it would do is it will email it and it will send it directly to the fax server and then out as a fax there. Now finally, the easiest way to send an outbound fax is via our print client. This works in any Windows environment and allows you to fax out from any application where you can print. So what you would do is you would open up the document that you want to fax out. You would do File, Print. And in the drop-down menu, instead of picking the printer, you would pick the FaxFinder and click OK. And what it's going to do is it's going to pop up our print client here. And now I can click on contacts, and it will load all the contacts from my personal contact list, my global contact list, the global and personal groups, and I also have the option of getting from my Outlook contacts, my personal Outlook contacts. So I can pick from any of these groups who I want to send faxes to. I just highlight their name and click add. I can pick from different types of groups if I want to. With the print client, there is a search button here, so I can start typing in a name and it would narrow it down for me. Once I've picked all my contacts, I had to click OK. There is also the option, there's a plus sign right here that you can click on and you can manually add in a contact. So if it's a one-off type thing, you can manually add that contact in there as well. I have the option to choose if I want to use a cover page, and again, I can pick from the different templates of which cover page I want to use. And I'll just do this as test 3. And then I have the options here. It's defaulted to send immediately. I can schedule a certain day and time for something to go out. So if I want it to go out after business is closed for the day, what it will do is it will send it to the fax server and queue it up there until that time hits. Again, I can choose if I want a fax confirmation receipt always, never, or only on failed faxes. And then if I want a fax attachment with that confirmation receipt. So once I set that, I can click OK. If I want to, there's a plus sign here. I can add additional documents as well to build the fax up. And then I would just click schedule. And what it will do is it will convert the files into faxable file types and be able to send it to the FaxFinder to be scheduled out. That concludes our FaxFinder web demo. Just to recap what we have talked about, the FaxFinder connects to analog station ports off of a phone system capable of DID to DTMF routing or to analog POTS lines. We can route incoming faxes to an email address, a networked folder, a networked printer, or any combination of those. And then you have the option to send outbound faxes via a web client or email to fax, which the file types you can fax out are going to be PostScript, text, TIFF, and PDF file types. Otherwise, you can fax out from our print client. This works in any Windows environment and allows you to fax out from any application where you can print. If you're interested in the FaxFinder product or want to learn more about how this might work in your environment, you can contact one of our resellers. To find a reseller in your area, you could go to multitech.com. Under the How to Buy tab, you can click Find a Reseller and be able to put in your zip code and what products you're looking for, and they'll give you a list of resellers you can contact to either purchase the product or get more information about the product. Thank you.